Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Zasko2 channel, okay? The guy going for Radiant in-game and in real life. Last week was insane, and this week I'm going to take the good parts of it, okay? And we're going to make this week like a better version of last week. We're going to make it absolutely insane. As you can see, all right, I have a plan, and this plan is what's going to lead us to have an extraordinary week. Starting with just cleaning up the mind, cleaning up the workspace, getting everything clear, and getting ourselves set up for an amazing day. How can it go wrong, you know? A common pattern that I will own up to is that I implement something, I focus on it for like 2 days, and then I just end up forgetting about it and losing it because I don't let myself internalize it into just a strong habit. Okay, so I always start off my weeks really good, and I've like got these insane systems that I put in place that are just allowing us to progress so fast, but then it all just ends up disappearing and I don't end up actually making the progress that I want to in the long run. So this week the intentions are to change that, okay? Speaking of change, check this out. My brand new contact lenses came in the mail a little bit early, so I was pretty G'd up. I tried them yesterday and it was insane. Like, it felt like the biggest buff ever for the first half of the day, and then the second half of the day it wasn't, and it was really uncomfortable. So I think my eyes have to just not like dry out, gotta get used to it or something. But the idea at the moment is just to do some focused training to get used to it. The contacts, I won't lie, are so much sharper than my glasses, and it feels crazy being able to look with my eyes and having the focal point follow that. But so far I'm not feeling it. Like, the irritation is setting in. Day 1 was great, like I said. Day 2, irritation. Anyways, cardio. We're doing 20 minutes of zone 2 cardio. Last week, I did 30 minutes of zone 3 cardio, and I think that fatigued me. And then I needed a rest day, and then the rest day caused me to forget about doing cardio in future. So this week, if I do something more manageable, hopefully I can stick with it. After that, I was planning to warm up for some comp, get the ramp warm up down, and I was pretty G'd up. You know, I want to test out my new contacts in comp, but the servers were down. Unbelievable. It's a new season, so everything's resetting. It's probably going to be messy but we'll see. Anyways, I get on Kovacs instead. Dynamic clicking. I whip out the sensitivity randomizer with a range of like 1x to 2.5x my sensitivity. By the end of my session, Kovacs ended up recording 50 minutes worth of actual in-game aim training, but the thing is, that doesn't include the pauses that I was taking throughout my session, just the ones that optimize our learning speed by allowing us to process the information as we go, just giving our brain little rests, you know, like treating it like the gym. But as it got closer to 12 o'clock, I had somewhere to be, okay? The Valorant seminar that Opus hosts, it was meant to be 3 hours. It ended up going for 4 hours. Hey, like, Valorant servers are down, might as well learn about Valorant. After the seminar, I was so keen to just relax and reset, and I took some time before hopping back on and warming up to prepare for our first ever scrim, which the opposing team ended up cancelling last minute. With no backup plan in mind, I ended up just going with the flow and playing 6 competitive games, and I'm gonna be honest, I just don't think I gave them nearly enough love. Like, first of all, I'm playing 6 games in a row, which is way more than usual, but I'm also playing them predominantly just to win. I've got a few examples here that I'll show you of us trying to work on our synergy and our teamwork, but I think there's way more effective ways to do that. You ready, Sova? We peak after the Reyna goes down. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh my goodness. Oh, you guys are amazing. I just screamed. Wow.
Let's go. I've already spent 4 hours studying, 90 minutes aim training, and who knows how long prepping up some theory for the scrim. I just feel like the day was all about Valorant. And because of that, I wasn't doing too good with my diet, my stress management, and I was just kind of information overloading myself. And on top of that, the contact lenses were actually feeling horrible. Like, I was really not enjoying it. I genuinely think I've got them on the wrong way. Like, they're backwards mixed up. They have to be. Because I go to sleep at 11, 10 p.m. is the cutoff, and I stick to that and take the time to reflect on the day, and in that time I realized how far off the plan I was. It's not the end of the world, and I'm happy I got some practice in, but to make sure it doesn't happen again, the adaptations for tomorrow will be to slow down, take the time to cook, do some better planning, and really stick to the limits that I set, and just allocate time to every single task, especially training with the team. After taking accountability for not sticking to my plan, as well as resetting everything for tomorrow, I get up feeling amazing, and once again with a clear direction to go in. Morning sunlight done, we set up the workspace nice and clean, and then we just get cooking, and I take my time, I relax. I whip up a hectically beautiful meal. Veggies, sweet potato, beef mince, Gouda cheese. I just wasn't in a rush at all. Feeling super chill, I was gonna get stuck into our training block, and then I started my meditation, got like 30 seconds in, cancelled, and was like, nah. I think I need to swap the study block and the training block. because with the training block, I don't even know what I'm training, and maybe I can figure that out with the study block. Anyways, the program that I'm looking at here is Obsidian, and it's where I build my playbook. I've got each map, and then I break it down into each agent, and then I break it down into attack and defense, and then I've got plays for each side. In my Obsidian, I've got a VOD review checklist that I wanted to revisit, update with my new knowledge, and use to guide us in our VOD reviews. I'm not going to go through it all, so you can pause and have a read if you'd like, but this is the updated version now. Once I was done with that, I uploaded my VOD to insights.gg so we can add our little captions and notes, and then I ended up going and putting in my contacts. This time doing it the other way around, swapping it for left eye and right eye, because I genuinely was convinced that I put them in backwards. But when I sat back down, I just instantly knew, no, like I had it right the first time, you know? I swapped them back and it was way better. But yeah, it just doesn't make sense as to why it was so uncomfortable yesterday. You know what? Instead of stressing about it, let's just get stuck into our VOD review. Last week, or the week before maybe, I'm not 100% sure to be honest, Dopeye spoke of routing and how our routing was just way off. While reviewing, I actually didn't even need my checklist because in 5 of my attack side rounds, I literally didn't use any form of cover when pathing onto site, and I just did all the same mistakes that Dopeye was critiquing before in that routing session. I did the thing where I just do it for a bit, don't fully internalize it, move on to the next thing, and then go back to my old habits. Like, man, I really need to be checking in on myself when I try and learn something. But here's one last thing. Listen to this comm. Let's fight again. Go flash shots. Were you able to make out what I said? Neither could I, okay? And that's because there was no strength behind my words. There was no confidence. I wasn't speaking clear and concise. These comms were weak and emasculate. They need to be cool, calm, collected, and firm. Phoenix, flash me out, bruh. Flash main, I'll swing. Phoenix, can you flash? Literally any of those would have been better than Phoenix. Maybe we should fight, man. I feel like we should... Oh, do you want to flash? Maybe? Do you want to flash? You get the point. Okay? Comms, they just need to be so much better. Let's get them better. Next up, we need a visualizer, okay? It's one thing to know, but it's another thing to see it. The first VOD that I look at is Demon 1. He does path out A main first round and goes cover to cover, but then doesn't do it again because he contacts space literally every single other round. So no good. Jing, fellow APAC player. Surely he's just running out. Does seem to go cover to cover. Next round though, he runs out in the open and dies. So I don't really know. Cryo kinda did, but I couldn't really find any good examples. And then I found Som, and Som was like perfect visualizer, very obvious, very clear. You can see he blocks line of sight using Gen here, goes straight to the box on the right in this one, and just, yeah, perfect. So what I do is download the VOD, just isolate the examples, and then I hop into a custom game with Zach and use those as reference. Just the equivalent of visualizing. I basically can't visualize because I have aphantasia. I forgot that's probably really important to explain. I just can't visualize. Anyways, the combination of hyper-focused repetitions as well as a visualizer to understand what I need to be working towards. Perfect practice. One other thing that I did in this session was actually teach Zach about a concept Dopeye taught me recently that I hadn't gotten down yet. Smoke timing. I just taught him about not smoking until you see the enemy's smokes so that you don't get baited out and blah blah blah. There was something we did together, and the fastest way to learn supposedly is to teach other people. Don't know the science behind it, but we're gonna see if that is effective and if I actually time my smokes better from now on. After a really productive session though, I ended up taking a break to rehydrate my eyes. I took the contacts out, put in some eye drops, basically just gave my eyes a break from the contacts, and this should hopefully stop the dryness that's just been building up over the days. Like maybe that's why the start of the day was so much better than the end, and that this could maybe reset it, you know what I mean? Burger cheese on a plate with some sweet potato and veggies that I did eat. There was a lot more veggies on this plate. After I finished eating, I jumped into comp and I found the problem, and it's that I wanted to keep working on my crosshair placement, but I found it so hard to consistently track angles when I play on such a low sense. My range of motion is so limited that I just have to keep resetting, and if I don't, I end up taking fights in just really awkward spots on my mouse pad. The solution that I came up with was to just change my sense. Go from 0.2 800 dpi to 0.3 800 dpi. It's like a 50% increase, and it's a whole lot faster, and it uses different muscles to what I'm used to, but I feel like if I stick it out and I learn how to make this work, it's just going to be so much better. I hop into a deathmatch to put it to the test, and I was right, it was so much better. I just felt so much more free, and you can just see how much easier it is for me to track angles and stay in the optimal area for crosshair placement. You can clearly see in this clip that my micro adjustments aren't that good, but my speed and my freedom to move quickly around the screen is like so much faster. In this clip here, you can see the entire reason as to why I wanted to change sense in the first place. I'm tracking the angle effortlessly, and then I'm in a perfect position to just quickly micro adjust onto the enemy. This is exactly what Primi does when he doesn't have angle disadvantage. Pretty much every single kill here, he was just perfectly tracking the corner, and it's just so gracious. It's so beautiful. That's like my favorite Primi clip of all time. I've watched that at least 200 times on slow-mo. And in these death matches here, I'm literally watching it in between each death match just to refresh it in my mind so I can try and replicate it. And it actually works. Like, it genuinely works. I forgot to mention I'm shirtless because it's like 35 degrees or something today. So now you can see in this clip that I'm actually starting to pull it off. I'm definitely forcing it. So I'm like holding onto the angle way longer than I should. And I'm just putting a lot of thought into making it happen. But if I just keep doing this, eventually I'll master it. Anyways, it was actually a really good deathmatch session. And now I hop into a custom game with Webb. And I basically just hold angles for him in random positions so that he can practice contacting angles. He's going to be playing Cypher on our Prem team. So might as well just make him the best lurker ever. And once we got sick of doing that, we got Gavin as well into the custom, and we just ran it down C site to give him some practice holding against floods. Gavin ended up filling for our scrims, and he's legit like plat. I think he played like one game last act, and it was a plat game. So you can imagine how funny it was when we brought him into a scrim against a whole bunch of top Radiant LPL teams, and he ended up dropping like a 3k one round, and we were hyping him up. It was cool. It was cool. But one thing I will say is with our scrims, we definitely like over prepared. We kind of went way too hard on the strats, and it was just a bit of a reality check that we needed to loosen up a little bit and just focus on the fundamentals to begin with. But besides that, for our first scrim, it was so fun, and everyone on the team is super growth oriented, so I'm keen to see where it goes. After refueling and getting some food into me, I'm going to be honest and say I was having a Valorant identity crisis. I wanted to change roles. I felt like I couldn't win any games, and everything was just so messy. I think there was just too much on my mind. I was mentally overloaded. After getting brutally humbled in the scrim and just being so mentally lost, I thought, oh, maybe it's the agent choice and Clove being off meta in pro play. I was like, maybe I get the Raze going, and Raze was like terrible for me to just pick up and try and learn. On top of that, Fracture's out, and I'm learning a new SENS, and my contacts were just like doing my head in because I just couldn't get them right. And I was full freaking out. I was just confused, and I just had so much that I was working on at once, and I was mentally, like, mental capacity at its max, basically. I think I just need to find some direction and some balance. That's just the main thing. I'm just like super lost in the mess of this week, and I think things just got a little bit out of hand. My reflection for the day though is still positive, because today was better than yesterday. We had a perfect morning block into a perfect study block, and then everything was looking good, and I got some training done, but then once I started comp, it was pretty much GG from there. Like, I think that's the main killer, is I need to be way more on top of my comp, because I lose track of time, and I don't know, I didn't have enough of a plan when it came to comp. But yeah, basically the plan was half executed. So I'm still happy, but the job's not done yet, you know? The simple plan for tomorrow is just going to be play our comp games first, before any learning, and just with what's already internalized. We're going to play 2 comps, then just quickly review, play another 2 games, do another review, use that review to find the weakest link in our gameplay, and then just structure our training around that area that we want to work on. Whatever we need to do, but then just sleep afterwards and download everything before we play comp again. Hang on a sec, we gotta show some love to the Ko-Fi supporters. Everyone on screen, absolute legend. I gotta say thank you, and hey, you guys are the backbone of this channel, so your support doesn't go unnoticed. For anyone that's new, if you check out the link in the description, there's a Ko-Fi. It's $3, gains access to the active Discord community that we've got going, and yeah, basically fuels these videos. It wouldn't be possible without everyone doing what they're doing, so appreciate it. Anyways, we continue. Alright, third time is a charm, okay? With the room fully set up, it's straight outside to get some morning sunlight, and then I get straight into a pro VOD review. Man, come on. This ain't the plan, man. Come on, bruh. Wheat Bix, we get some Wheat Bix down. We're back on track, alright? We're doing our warm-up. We do our focus training to get our eyes nice and crisp. We do our physical warm-up to get the blood pumping, and then we do our ramp warm-up to get our mechs extremely sharp. While I was doing the ramp warm-up though, I felt my mouse legit sticking to the pad. I don't know why yet, and I ended up just buying some X-ray pad, like Obsidian, Jade, I don't know what they're called. Obsidian dots, basically. Little dots I put on the bottom of my mouse feet. But yeah, warming up, I'm not thinking about nothing, okay? Not thinking about nothing. I want my mind to be as clear as humanly possible. So I just simply warm up, I get Zach into a custom, and we shoot each other, and that is it. I get straight into comp, stick into our plan, 2 games, review them, 2 games, review them. I got a really good sleep, so a lot of the information from last night has been downloaded. My sensitivity is feeling so much better. My first deathmatch, I was was tracking angles, I was doing all the stuff we practiced yesterday, but I don't care. All right, I'm not thinking about none of it. None of it matters, okay? We just need to relax, loosen up, not think about nothing. Going into the session, I was so growth oriented. I didn't care about nothing. I was streaming with no delay because I just wanted to speak to my community and be a cool streamer. If I get stream sniped, it's just more practice for me and my angle holds. So I don't care. I don't even care. I was so confident that I was going to stick to my game plan, and I was just so excited to do so because I want to see some change. I didn't care about nothing besides making sure I was playing the best Valorant that I could possibly play. All because I knew that 100% after this game I'm going to VOD review it. One thing that we can have a laugh about though is the Teo mollies. Teo, whatever, however it's pronounced. They caught me off guard big time, but hey, that's just a gift, okay? A gift of knowledge. I won't do it again. I didn't know it was that strong. I thought it was like KO. I could run through that. Here's the 2 games we've played so far. Let's review the split game, shall we? This is a perfect distance to the angle, right? But he's cipher caged. So now technically I'm holding right on the angle instead of adjusting my crosshair to be here to account for the swing, which happened. The work that we put in last week on our crosshair placement and just our conceptual mechanics and peeking technique is slightly better, but it is not subconscious, and it is not to a high enough standard subconscious. So I think that's what I need to just continue focusing on until it is. I take a break, eat some food, and watch some Primi to visualize what good mechanics look like. This is what our mechanics and crosshair placement need to look like. Absorb all of it, absorb all of it. The next 2 games that I play, I don't think I was overthinking much at all. I just kept that same clear mind, but I had the visualizer to kind of jog my brain's idea of what my mechs should look like. One thing I can 100% say though is that I wasn't thinking about my smokes at all, that's for sure. But I seem to have become subconsciously competent at doing all the smokes that Dopeye wanted me to do. They're just really good now. Here you can see a CT smoke when we're pushing out, but then I do a deep smoke when we're holding. And then throughout defense, every single smoke that I placed was so adaptive and based on the situation. And I was just doing all the smokes that Dopeye said for those situations. Even making up my own, like this one way that held the bomb. That's the smoke. Hey, smoke MVP right there. Smoke MVP. The reason I mention this is because I've actually put 0 effort into working on my smokes. I'm confused as how this has perfectly downloaded and become second nature, and my crosshair placement hasn't. On my final game of the day, which was on Abyss, you can definitely see the subtle Primi tracing mechs that I've been working on. At this point, I'd kind of completely forgotten that it was the focus, and what we're looking at here is just what I've got internalized. It's super worth noting as well that the raw aim on the new SENS is just looking a whole lot better, and you can see that I'm actually starting to get my micro adjustments down now. With that though, the comp block is completed. I rehydrate my eyes and continue cooking, just taking my time, being mindful, just trying my best not to information overload myself basically. Pay attention to this clip specifically. It's silent, I'm looking around at what I can see and listening to the things I can hear. I'm just taking my time, I'm in no rush, I'm just being super chill. I'm basically just giving my brain a chance to just process everything it's been through so far in the day. In order to fully complete the plan, we've still got a training block and a study block, so the job is simply not done yet. I'm straight onto Kovacs with our sensitivity randomizer once again. Just like last week, in order to keep pushing for better crosshair placement, we need to keep pushing for smooth tracking. Since we're on a high sense now, we are definitely not smooth enough anymore. That's the one thing that went straight away. So I got to relearn how to be smooth on this high sense, and I'm keen to get there because, oh, it's going to be beautiful. Anyways, I hit the 30-minute limit that we set, and I get straight onto Valorant after the practice. Remember the Primi clip that I showed you earlier? Well, this is what we want to become. So the boys hopped into a custom game with me, and they were going to help me become that. All I'm trying to do is trace the corner until I see an enemy and then just stop and kill. You can either peek or hold or like jiggle, anything. Okay. Like try and throw it off.
Yeah, ready?
Easy. Yeah, ready.
Yep.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Alright, ready, bro. The other important aspect of this is making sure that I'm not always on the angle and that I'm further away when I'm anticipating a swing, you know, just our usual angle hold. But having a visualizer as well as a perfect recreation of the scenario the visualizer was done in, this is the best, most effective practice I've ever done in my life. Did it. I did it. Now just like hide all the guns so it doesn't look like I died 500 times. Or 35 times to be exact. Once getting super comfortable replicating what was in the visualizer, I decided to try and apply it to different spots of the map, and more specifically ones that I actually play.
Great. No, get the fuck out of here.
When it takes your house. You takes you out.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that, bro. I'm sorry. Now, I'm not gonna lie, that was literally the most potent crosshair placement practice I've ever done. And it's important to understand that now I've got like a gym pump for crosshair placement. Like, so much of the practice we just did is in the front of my mind and it hasn't fully been internalized yet, like second nature, but it's still gonna hover around. Just like a gym pump, like I'm gonna be performing this good for like the next, you know, 30, 40 minutes or so. And I'm not gonna lie, I was making the most of it. Like, this was crazy. And if this is a glimpse into what we could one day be, dude, I just have to keep focusing mechs. I just have to keep focusing the conceptual mechanics, because like, dude, doesn't this excite you? Like, what if this was us when we woke up out of bed and just hopped on Val and played? Like, what if we internalized this so deeply? I'm G'd up. I'm so G'd up. I think that it's abundantly clear that the next steps for me is literally mastering tracking and mastering my crosshair placement. Like, not just practice it for this one session and then just think I've done the job. Like, I need to get it so down and so locked into my head that, yeah, like I said, that this equivalent of a gym pump is us every day. Nah, like, I'm actually G'd up. Like, a week ago, I was watching that Primi tracing clip and it just seemed so far-fetched, but this is literally it. Wait, nah. This clip here is actually fried, okay? I don't even know how I've done this. Look at the crosshair placement. Started to trace and then smoothly transition into a pre-aim. Like, where did this even come from? I didn't even see this in Primi's VODs. And my micro adjustments. I thought my micro adjustments were terrible. Dude, I don't want this to end, dude. Maybe before every single Valorant session from now on, I just got to get Gavin and Zach on and just force them to do like an hour or two of Primi aim training tech beforehand. But like, man, this is not me, bro. This is not me. Legit, I'm not even joking. I went 40-8 in my next deathmatch. Like, the fact that this is a gym pump equivalent is just heartbreaking, but so motivating. It's seriously just a glimpse into the future. This is what I will be like if I internalize this, and I'm gonna make that happen, I promise. Oh wait, no, hang on. It's as if I actually don't want that to be the case, because after a scrimming session and watching a bit of VCT with the boys, I ended up queuing a 5th competitive game, last minute buzzer beater, shattering the potential for this to be a day where we stick to our plan. Mind you, it was at 9:30 at night, so I was half asleep and completely exhausted, so I literally went 3-17. It's such a dumb way to throw, but that's all good because at least we know that next week is going to be even better, okay? And to ensure that that happens, I once again go over my whiteboard, condensing my daily complicated plan down to just 7 tasks with time limits and 3 rules to follow, which is that I stick to those limits. I make sure that I only practice with perfect practice, and that I'm energized and I'm G'd up for that practice, and that I just don't grind all day because there's just diminished returns. I need to break it up. I need to get that mindfulness. Despite the statistics pointing at this week being absolutely terrible for our Valorant progression, it has been one of the most impactful, like in terms of the things we've learned. The ability to visualize something through actually looking at someone doing it and then just trusting myself to replicate it. Like, I was doing it with golf a few weeks ago, but I didn't realize I could do it with Valorant for some reason. Just such a simple connection that I didn't make. But B, that executing a proper day is a skill, and that in the past, when I've tried to execute a certain plan and it hasn't worked, all I had to do was just keep trying until it did, instead of trying to execute the plan, failing, and then saying, oh nah, it's just too much, or I'm asking myself for too much. Like, no, it's a skill. I just got to keep practicing until I get there. But back to the visualization thing, check this out. I watched a Primi Deadlock VOD, and then without thinking, I just played Deadlock, and this was my first ever round.
Nice.
Oh, that's spike shares.
They droned out short.
Okay, Phoenix flash.
Oh.
One shares.
It's like 30 in pocket.
Yep. 60.
Ooh, nice.
Good job.
Maybe this is a quick and easy way to expand the agent pool. Just watch someone play it and then just give it a crack instead of overthinking it and building a whole playbook like I normally do. Like, geez, man, I like to overcomplicate things, eh? There's a comment in like one of my first videos, like week 5 or 6. Someone said, dude, it ain't rocket science. It ain't rocket science. Just like rank up, bro. And I think he was right. Anyways, I'm babbling. Let's say goodbye. I love you all. Thanks for watching. Make sure you guys also grind and work towards your goals and become whoever you want to be. May that be a Valorant pro, may that be a doctor or a dentist. Whatever it is, just do it, bro. It's like, don't overcomplicate it. It isn't rocket science. Take care.